There's one question that quietly shapes every relationship yet rarely gets asked. What does comfort actually mean for a woman's body? Most people talk about chemistry, attraction, or technique, but comfort, the very foundation of emotional and physical connection, is often ignored. Yet, when we study the physiology of comfort, we find that it determines everything, from how easily the body relaxes to how deeply it experiences connection. I'm Dr. Mia Grant, and today we're unpacking the science of female comfort. We'll explore the biology of relaxation, the chemistry of trust, and the neural pathways that link emotional safety with physical satisfaction. You'll learn how the female body responds not just to touch, but to tone, energy, and empathy. This episode isn't about positions. It's about understanding how biology and communication create comfort and connection that last. By the end, you'll know why comfort isn't a soft idea. It's a measurable state of balance in the nervous system and hormones that can change relationships entirely. Stay with me, because once you understand this science, you'll never think about intimacy or connection the same way again. At the center of comfort lies one biological truth. The body only opens when it feels safe. When the nervous system senses stress or tension, it activates fight or flight. Blood flow is redirected away from non-essential systems, including reproductive and sensory areas, and sent to survival muscles instead. This is why anxiety, pressure, or discomfort can physically block pleasure. But when the brain feels safety and trust, it shifts gears into what scientists call the rest and respond state. The hormone oxytocin begins to rise, while cortisol, the stress hormone, drops. This switch expands blood vessels, increases oxygen delivery, and heightens sensation. Muscles soften, nerves transmit more clearly. The body, in essence, begins to listen. In women, this physiological shift is particularly pronounced because sensory nerve density in pelvic tissues is heavily influenced by circulation. When stress constricts flow, sensation dulls. When relaxation expands it, sensitivity returns. That's why calm, empathy, and patience aren't romantic cliches. They're biochemical tools. Comfort is the gateway to connection, proven by endocrinology and neuroscience alike. Connection begins long before touch. It starts with chemical communication. The moment trust builds, the body releases a series of hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, that regulate bonding, motivation, and calm. These are not abstract emotions. They are physical molecules changing how the brain interprets contact. Oxytocin enhances empathy and lowers fear. Dopamine reinforces pleasure and motivation, while serotonin balances emotion and stability. Together, they create a neurological environment of openness, a feedback loop where trust enhances sensitivity and sensitivity enhances trust. In research, women who report feeling emotionally secure before intimacy show higher oxytocin spikes and lower cortisol. This pattern links emotional safety to measurable biological effects: more relaxation, better circulation, and stronger immune response. It's not magic. It's molecular biology at work. When partners communicate respect, patience, and warmth, they're literally programming each other's brains for connection. The result isn't just emotional, it's chemical harmony between two nervous systems. Comfort thrives in communication, not just verbal, but nonverbal cues like tone, rhythm, and breathing. When partners communicate openly, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and empathy, becomes active, while the brain's threat center, the amygdala, quiets. The physiological result? A calmer heart rate, softer muscles, and greater sensitivity. This explains why open dialogue during intimacy increases satisfaction for both partners. Even simple check-ins, eye contact, a question, a smile, can regulate each other's nervous systems. Scientists call this phenomenon co-regulation, where two bodies synchronize stress and relaxation through micro-interactions. In essence, words and gestures create physiological permission for pleasure. When one partner senses safety and responsiveness, their nervous system mirrors it, leading to harmony instead of tension. The takeaway: communication isn't just emotional, it's biological engineering for comfort and trust. For too long, comfort has been dismissed as softness. In truth, it's intelligence, the body's way of optimizing performance through regulation. A relaxed body is a responsive body. A calm mind amplifies awareness. That's not emotional. It's scientific. When we redefine comfort as a biological strategy, we elevate intimacy to its rightful place. Cooperation between two intelligent systems. Every act of care, patience, and communication reinforces neural pathways that strengthen trust and pleasure. Over time, couples who prioritize comfort develop what clinicians call synchrony, a measurable physiological pattern where heart rates, breathing, and even hormone levels align. Comfort, then, is not passive. It's the active art of tuning two nervous systems together. It's how biology rewards empathy. By the end of this series, you'll see that comfort isn't the opposite of passion. It's the foundation of it. Because when comfort comes first, connection follows effortlessly. Every sensory experience in the human body begins with one thing: blood flow. Without it, nerves can't communicate, muscles can't relax, and tissues can't feel. In women, circulation is the silent engine behind responsiveness. When the heart rate rises slightly during emotional connection, warm blood floods the pelvic region, carrying oxygen, hormones, and nutrients. This process heightens sensitivity and creates that subtle warmth associated with anticipation and connection. Poor circulation, whether from stress, sedentary habits, or poor posture, can dull sensation and delay response. That's why emotional safety and physical relaxation go hand in hand. Both increase vascular expansion through nitric oxide release. Simply breathing deeply, moving regularly, and managing stress can amplify sensitivity without a single external change. Healthy circulation doesn't just fuel physical comfort, it fuels confidence. It's the body's way of saying, "I'm ready to connect." Every heartbeat, every breath, and every moment of calm communication supports this invisible, intelligent system that keeps pleasure alive. The female body's response to intimacy is a precise hormonal symphony. Each hormone plays a role. Estrogen enhances circulation and nerve sensitivity. Progesterone influences relaxation, and oxytocin creates emotional closeness. These hormones don't act in isolation. They form a rhythm that cycles through the month and adapts to environment, mood, and connection. Estrogen increases blood flow by stimulating nitric oxide, ensuring tissues remain supple and responsive. Oxytocin, released through trust, touch, and affection, enhances empathy while lowering cortisol. Together, they create the ideal state for comfort and responsiveness. When chronic stress or fatigue interfere, the balance shifts, circulation declines, sensitivity fades, and fatigue takes its place. The takeaway? Hormones are communication messengers. They don't just regulate fertility, they regulate connection. Understanding them helps partners replace guesswork with compassion. Supporting hormonal health through sleep, nutrition, and stress control makes intimacy feel more natural and spontaneous because the body's chemistry and emotions are finally aligned. Behind every physical response lies an intricate network of over 8,000 sensory nerve endings concentrated in the pelvic and genital regions, each one acting like a receptor tuned to temperature, pressure, and motion. These nerves feed into the spinal cord and brainstem, areas that integrate sensory data with emotional memory. When the brain perceives safety, these signals travel freely, creating a synchronized feedback loop between mind and body. But under tension, muscles tighten, blood flow constricts, and signals weaken, making sensation feel inconsistent. This isn't psychological failure, it's a neurological bottleneck. That's why practices that calm the nervous system, deep breathing, massage, slow rhythm, and communication, are scientifically proven to enhance sensory transmission. They help switch the brain from analyzing to feeling. Once the nervous system is in harmony, sensitivity increases naturally, producing both comfort and intensity in a balanced, healthy way. The body doesn't just react, it listens. Emotions influence hormones, hormones influence blood flow, and blood flow changes emotion again. This cycle is called the psychophysiological feedback loop, and it explains why mental calm translates directly into physical comfort. When anxiety strikes, cortisol rises and constricts blood vessels. But when emotional safety and slow breathing take over, the parasympathetic nervous system activates, promoting nitric oxide release and better circulation. Over time, this conditioning becomes automatic. The more often the body experiences safe, relaxed intimacy, the faster it enters that state next time. It's like training the body to remember calmness. Clinical studies show that couples who practice mindfulness and slow breathing before intimacy not only report higher satisfaction, but also demonstrate lower blood pressure and cortisol. Biology confirms what compassion teaches. The body remembers kindness, not pressure. Modern life challenges the body's natural rhythm. Stress, poor diet, and constant mental load disrupt circulation and hormonal harmony. But science shows that the female body can quickly recalibrate through small, consistent habits. Sleep, hydration, mindfulness, and movement. Even light exercise, like walking or yoga, stimulates blood flow and helps regulate estrogen and progesterone levels. Nutrients like magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins support hormone synthesis, while proper hydration maintains tissue elasticity. Emotional connection, laughter, and affection raise oxytocin, counteracting the effects of stress. True wellness means restoring communication between the heart, the brain, and the reproductive system. When circulation, hormones, and nerves work together, comfort and response become effortless. This is not self-help. It's human biology at its most elegant. Every small act of care you take, physical or emotional, teaches the body how to stay in balance naturally. Every meaningful relationship speaks two languages, words and biology. When partners communicate with care, their brains synchronize through microsignals like tone, facial expression, and breathing rhythm. Neuroscientists call this interpersonal attunement. It's not poetic, it's measurable. Functional MRI scans show that when empathy is present, both brains begin mirroring each other's activity. This mirrored communication lowers heart rate, balances breathing, and calms the nervous system. It's the body's way of saying, "You're safe here." From that safety, comfort and sensitivity grow naturally. When communication is tense or absent, the reverse happens. Heart rate rises, cortisol floods, and blood flow redirects away from areas that support pleasure and focus. Understanding this helps transform communication from an emotional act to a biological necessity. When you listen patiently or speak kindly, you're not just being thoughtful. You're literally tuning another person's physiology toward balance. Trust is not abstract, it's chemical. The moment two people interact with kindness, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that lowers fear and strengthens empathy. This hormone directly reduces cortisol and enhances blood flow to the brain and reproductive organs, linking emotional safety to physical responsiveness. In research settings, couples who practiced trust-based communication, eye contact, calm tone, touch, and honesty, showed more synchronized heart rhythms and lower blood pressure. In essence, their physiology began to mirror each other's state of calm. That phenomenon, called emotional synchrony, is now recognized as a measurable health benefit. It's not just about avoiding conflict, it's about cultivating physiological peace. Every genuine word of reassurance, every shared laugh, becomes a chemical signal of stability. Over time, trust rewires the nervous system, teaching it that connection is safe, not stressful. When two people truly connect, their bodies begin to move as one. Their heart rates align, breathing synchronizes, and even small muscle movements mirror subconsciously. Studies using infrared and biofeedback sensors show that couples in emotional harmony exhibit near-identical microfluctuations in heart rhythm and brainwave frequency. This synchrony increases both comfort and clarity. It helps partners anticipate each other's reactions, respond empathetically, and feel deeply understood without words. It's a biological dance, driven not by performance, but by presence. The most powerful part? Synchrony isn't limited to romance. It occurs between friends, parents, and children too. It's the body's universal language of connection, powered by calm attention. When you align emotionally, you align physiologically, creating a feedback loop of calm that benefits mental and physical health alike. Just as empathy synchronizes the body, conflict disrupts it. Arguments, sarcasm, or withdrawal activate the amygdala, the brain's alarm system. Cortisol surges, heart rate spikes, and blood flow shifts toward survival mode. Muscles tighten, and sensitivity dulls, especially in regions dependent on circulation. In this state, comfort becomes nearly impossible because the body is preparing for defense, not connection. But here's the hopeful part. Communication can reset it. Simple acts like pausing to breathe, acknowledging emotion, or using soft tone re-engage the prefrontal cortex, turning off the alarm. Within minutes, cortisol drops, oxytocin rises, and heart rhythm stabilizes. This is why resolution and empathy matter. They restore physiological harmony faster than time alone. Understanding this turns communication into a biological tool. When you stay calm under stress, you protect both emotional and physical well-being. That's not just maturity. It's mind-body intelligence. Presence might be the most underrated skill in intimacy. When one partner is fully attentive, listening without judgment, observing without rushing, it activates the mirror neuron network in the other's brain. These neurons simulate what they see, allowing one person to feel the other's emotions. This shared resonance lowers stress and creates profound connection. Being present also slows time. It encourages mindful breathing, which reduces anxiety and improves circulation simultaneously. Studies show that couples practicing mindfulness together experience stronger emotional bonds, lower cortisol levels, and more satisfaction overall. Empathy, then, isn't abstract kindness. It's biological synchronization through awareness. Every breath, glance, and gesture becomes communication on a cellular level. The next time you connect, remember, presence isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about letting your calm teach their body to relax. That's emotional intelligence transformed into biology. Stress is invisible, but it leaves fingerprints on every cell in the body. When life's demands pile up, work, family, uncertainty, the brain releases cortisol and adrenaline to keep us alert. In short bursts, that's protective. But when stress becomes constant, those same hormones turn destructive. They constrict blood vessels, reduce oxygen flow, and inflame tissues, including the reproductive system. For women, chronic stress can disrupt hormone balance, delay cycles, and reduce sensitivity by tightening muscles and lowering circulation. For men, it can decrease testosterone and impair function. The body, in essence, reprioritizes survival over connection. What's fascinating is how reversible this is. The moment you pause, breathe deeply, stretch, laugh, or feel understood, cortisol drops, oxytocin rises, and the body begins to heal. Stress isn't a permanent injury, it's a signal. Learning to listen to it transforms health from reactive to proactive. Recovery isn't rest, it's recalibration. The nervous system has two gears, fight or flight, and rest and repair. When you consciously switch into the second state through sleep, deep breathing, or mindful touch, your body begins repairing the microscopic wear caused by stress. During recovery, blood pressure normalizes, immune cells regenerate, and the parasympathetic system, our natural healing network, takes control. Oxygen-rich blood returns to tissues, clearing toxins and nourishing cells. This process doesn't just restore comfort. It rebuilds trust between mind and body. For emotional healing, this means giving yourself permission to slow down. Science shows that people who regularly practice restorative habits, meditation, journaling, mindful conversation, exhibit 25 to 40% lower cortisol levels and better heart rate variability, indicators of resilience. Recovery is biology's way of rewarding patience. Emotional healing is not isolation, it's connection. Neuroscience reveals that empathy and compassion accelerate recovery by triggering the release of dopamine and oxytocin, which reduce stress and strengthen immune response. Humans are wired for co-healing. When we talk, hug, or share vulnerability with someone who listens, our bodies synchronize again. Brain scans show this reduces activation in the pain centers of the brain. In short, being understood literally changes how pain is processed. Couples who heal together, through communication, shared mindfulness, or therapy, often experience lower blood pressure and greater emotional stability. Connection becomes medicine, repairing both the mind and body through chemistry. The takeaway is profound. Healing doesn't mean being alone. It means being seen, felt, and accepted without judgment. Letting go is not weakness. It's biology's reset button. When you hold on to anger, guilt, or resentment, your brain keeps producing stress hormones long after the event. The nervous system can't distinguish between memory and reality. It relives the stress every time. Forgiveness, self-compassion, and mindfulness reduce that loop by activating the prefrontal cortex, which regulates emotional control. This part of the brain releases calming neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin, signaling the body to relax and reset. Over time, this practice rewires neural pathways associated with anxiety. Clinical research shows that people who practice forgiveness experience lower blood pressure, better sleep, and improved immune function. Biologically, letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about teaching the body not to live in defense mode. When we forgive, we return to physiological peace, making space for new connection and energy. Resilience isn't about avoiding stress, it's about recovering faster each time. The nervous system learns adaptability through repetition. Every deep breath after conflict, every act of compassion after frustration, strengthens the body's recovery reflex. Research in psychoneuroimmunology shows that resilient individuals produce lower inflammatory markers and higher growth factors that support cell regeneration. Emotional resilience literally translates into biological youth. The formula is simple. Recovery plus repetition equals resilience. This is why emotional healing and physical health are inseparable. When the heart learns to steady itself after stress, the body follows. Over time, resilience becomes an automatic pattern. Your brain learns not just to survive, but to thrive. The mind and body were never meant to work separately. Every emotion has a physical echo, and every heartbeat sends a message back to the brain. Neuroscientists call this bidirectional communication, a two-way conversation that keeps our biology and psychology synchronized. When you feel calm, your muscles soften, your breathing deepens, and your brain releases serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. These chemicals improve focus, lower blood pressure, and heighten awareness. The result? Emotional presence and physical vitality become one seamless system. Ignoring that connection leads to imbalance. Mental fatigue shows up as physical tension, and emotional neglect becomes biological stress. The goal of lifelong wellness isn't to isolate physical health from emotional health, but to integrate them. Every deep breath, every calm conversation, every act of compassion is an instruction to your cells. Stay balanced, stay open, stay alive. Emotional intelligence, understanding your own feelings and responding wisely to others, isn't just social skill, it's biology. Research shows that emotionally intelligent individuals produce lower cortisol, faster heart rate recovery, and improved immune function. When emotions are managed, the body spends less time in survival mode and more time in repair and renewal. Emotional awareness strengthens communication, which in turn regulates the prefrontal cortex and keeps the amygdala calm. This reduces impulsivity, improves empathy, and stabilizes relationships. The body follows suit. Hormones rebalance, tension decreases, and energy increases. Emotional health, then, is preventive medicine. Learning to express, not suppress, feelings keeps the nervous system flexible and adaptable. When communication, compassion, and clarity guide behavior, every system, from cardiovascular to endocrine, performs better. Health isn't only about blood work, it's about emotional literacy in daily life. Human connection is the most underprescribed medicine in modern health. Studies in social neuroscience show that meaningful relationships strengthen immune function, reduce pain, and extend lifespan. The reason is chemical. Oxytocin and endorphins released through connection regulate inflammation and support cellular repair. Loneliness, by contrast, increases stress hormones and weakens the immune system. Isolation tells the body that the environment is unsafe, maintaining low-level inflammation that erodes long-term health. The cure isn't social quantity, it's relational quality. One genuine connection can restore biological balance faster than dozens of superficial interactions. The body listens when we connect. Every shared smile, every supportive word, every moment of trust tells the brain, you're not alone. That message lowers stress chemistry instantly. In that sense, love isn't abstract. It's immunology in action. Movement and mindfulness work as twin therapies for hormone balance and stress control. Exercise increases dopamine and endorphins, improving energy and mood, while mindfulness raises serotonin and lowers cortisol. Together, they reset hormonal rhythm and reinforce body awareness. Gentle daily activity, yoga, walking, or stretching, stimulates pelvic and cardiovascular circulation. Combined with mindful breathing, it helps restore hormonal sensitivity in both men and women, improving performance and reducing anxiety. The science is clear. You can't separate physical motion from emotional motion. Each time you move intentionally and breathe consciously, your body learns calmness faster. Over time, that becomes baseline. Your hormones stabilize, your focus sharpens, and your resilience deepens. Mindful movement is not a luxury. It's the daily language of self-alignment. True health isn't about chasing perfection. It's about maintaining balance across systems. The most successful longevity models, from neuroscience to endocrinology, point to 5 universal pillars. 1. Movement to circulate blood and hormones. 2. Nutrition to supply the body's repair materials. 3. Rest to regulate the nervous system. 4. Connection to release oxytocin and lower stress. 5. Purpose to give the mind direction and peace. Together, these pillars form the biological blueprint for lifelong intimacy and vitality. They teach the body to operate in rhythm, stress and recovery, energy and calm, effort and reflection. Longevity isn't just about adding years, it's about adding depth to each one. When mind, body, and connection align, life feels lighter, relationships grow stronger, and health becomes self-sustaining. This is the revolution of awareness, living in tune with the science of being human.